The chairman of Nigerian Senate Committee on Police Affairs, Senator Paulinus Nwagu, has attributed no release of funds to implement budget to the election period. Senator Nwagu explained that no release of the fund to the federal ministry and government department were deliberate to forestall diversion of state resources.
This is an election year, sorry. And after the election, the releases will come. We cannot be releasing money now when the election is on ground. Are we releasing the money for election, or are we releasing it for projects? And money allocations are meant for development. It's not meant for election or personal use.
The chairman of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs said the fund will be released to all the government agencies soon after the election to continue their developmental drive. Meanwhile, Deputy Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Tafer has said Nigerian police are fully prepared for the forthcoming general election.
Prepared for the 2015 elections. We will mobilize all our manpower to ensure effective deployment and adequate deployment of personnel to cover all the booths.
In Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
Nigerians have been called upon to avoid being deceived by over-bloated media campaign for some Nigerians with the sole aim of gaining power at all costs without the technical and managerial ability to manage public office. The Supervising Minister of Information, High Chief Edem Duke, stated this when he met with newsmen in Abuja on ways to move the nation forward with true, credible and verifiable information for the benefit of Nigerians both in and outside the country.
Before I came to this assignment, I discovered, and this is a personal opinion, that those who are competing for office in the course of this election and have no record to back their aspirations had spent a lot of resources and time and ingenuity building up social media propaganda. Some of those aspiring for office today, their prowess is actually propelled by the media. That is, you position something. It is like those who are more versed in religion will say, you create something that is not as if it were. You cannot use all the social media in this world and all the billboards and posters in this world to say that the trains that were not moving 30 years ago are not moving today. You cannot use the social media to blindfold people to the fact that this government has built over 120 Almajiri schools. They are there. You cannot use the social media and all the above the line and below the line media to say that 22 airports are not being remodeled or 5 new international airports are not being built.
On the exit of the INEC chairman, the minister said that since the president has made himself clear on the issue, it will not be wise to comment on it. He, however, stated that there are some natural causes that may lead to a civil or public servant leaving office, which is tenure expiration, noting that in such cases it is only the president that can extend it if necessary.
The issue of the INEC chairman, I aligned myself with what the president said, that he has no plan to sack the INEC chairman. That is not to say that if it is time for the INEC chairman to naturally exit his office, all right, then the natural course of, things will not take place.
On the communication strategy of the ministry, especially in the area of social media, the supervising minister assured that there will be a shift towards the right thing, not for the purpose of propaganda, but to spread factual information, ensuring that the Federal Ministry of Information website will be up and doing, as he will do everything possible to revive it. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroga Nefifen for Ben Television.
All Progressive Congress caucus in the Senate has won against alleged plot by the federal government to sack the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atari Jaga, ahead of the rescheduled general election. The leader of the caucus, Senator George Akume, said plot is contained in a letter to be issued by the head of service of the Federation, asking Professor Jaga to proceed on pre-retirement leave.
We have received information from very, very informed source, a very, very credible source, that next week, the chairman of the INEC, National Independent Electoral Commission, will be given a letter, will be served a letter by the office of the head of civil service, directing him to proceed on terminal leave. Whether the letter comes from the head of service or from the secretary to the federal government does not make sense.
The APC caucus said the planned Jaga removal is capable of derailing the forthcoming general election, adding that only dishonest politicians will seek Professor Jaga removal at this critical time.
We want to use this medium to appeal to Nigerians to be steadfast, to keep watch, so that their labor can never be in vain. Nigeria is long overdue for a credible election. We said it before and want to repeat. If smaller countries like Ghana could do this perfectly well, why can't Nigeria do it? We oppose the removal because it is criminal, it is illegal, it is unconstitutional.
It will be recalled that Nigerian election was postponed by the Electoral Commission due to the security challenge in the northeastern part of the country. From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
A coalition of civil society groups has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to ensure that the new date fixed for the general election remain unchanged. The group, under the auspices of the Nigerians United for Democracy, made the call in Abuja at a press briefing on the state of the nation. Co-convener of the group, Jaye Geskia, said there is need for the National Assembly to extract a firm undertaking from the National Security Advisor and the security chiefs that the general election would not be further postponed.
The undertaking ought to be made publicly by the security chiefs in view of the categorical pronouncement of the Court of Appeal that the armed forces have no role to play in the electoral process. Since all authorities and persons are bound to obey the verdicts of our court, the President and the security chiefs should demonstrate their firm commitment to follow the rule of law by withdrawing soldiers from election duties.
Earlier, Ezenwanwago, a co-convener of the group, noted that the fight against insurgency cannot be tackled within 6 weeks, as submitted by NSA and other security chiefs.
Having fought the war on terror for 6 years, there is no indication that Boko Haram sect will be wiped out in 6 weeks. Since the operation is limited to 14 local governments, there was no basis for not holding an election in the remaining 760 local government areas in the Federation and the 6 area councils in the Federal Capital Territory.
The group warned that Nigerians will stage rallies across the country if there is any further pull shift or any attempt to introduce an interim government. From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports. Government at all levels has been asked to provide adequate securities before, during, and after the forthcoming general elections. A clergyman, Apostle Gospel Ojo, made the call at a news conference in Abuja. Apostle Gospel called on Nigerians not to entertain fears as the country is in the proper place in the heart of God.
You know, there is a fear in the heart of people. In fact, some people took a heave, they sighed a very strong relief when the elections were postponed, because they felt it's like a day of doom that has been postponed forward. But the truth is that there is no need for anybody to be scared or frightened about Nigeria, because Nigeria is in the proper place in the heart of God and in the scheme of things. A lot of people are worried. There are people that are ready to make trouble in Nigeria. They feel that if A wins, they fight. If B wins, they fight. So there are some people that are ready to fight no matter who wins in the election.
He also called on Nigerian youth not to allow any politicians to use them cause any political violence during the general elections.
As a young man, you have tomorrow. Listen, be wise. It is time for the youths to be wise. You don't fight like that. Most of the people we have today in the government, they all got there as young people. If they killed themselves before it was their turn, they wouldn't have even been there to rule. But if we stay alive, I'm sure that we can. It will get to our time one day. It will definitely get to our turn. So there is no point to die or to kill yourself when it's not your turn yet.
From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
The federal government has disclosed that 2.1 billion naira was saved in 2014 from pension paid to 15,000 ghost workers. This is even as the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, launched its 24-hour call center for better service delivery. The coordinating minister for the economy, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who said this at the PTAD Stakeholders Forum, added that another 4.7 billion naira was paid to military pensioners in December 2014. The CME further said that 1,354 pensioners from the 3 liquidated steel rolling mills of Osogbo, Katsina, and Jos have been added to pension beneficiaries after several years of being excluded. Okonjo-Iweala, who also doubles as the Minister of Finance, noted that with the establishment of PTAD, the federal government has been able to successfully harmonize all federally funded pension departments to reduce administrative bottlenecks and eliminate all forms of fraud that had created an age-long distrust in the pension system, and insisted that the nationwide verification exercise and biometric data captured presently being conducted by the Directorate will further infuse accountability and transparency into the pension system.
Every time it came up, it was blocked. And you know why? Because some people were making gains out of the multiplicity of pension payment systems that existed for our old pensioners. Even after the reform and the creation of PENCOM, where we are very, very proud, because for those who retired after 2007, they have the contributory pension system, which is managed under PENCOM and has saved more than 4 trillion naira as we speak. The suffering of our pensioners, let us create this new department, bring all the pension systems together, do biometric verification, put them together so we can begin to correct the wrongs that were done.
Speaking earlier, the Director General of PTAD, Nelly Mesha, said the major success of the agency was checking dubious financial transactions in commercial banks, which pensioners' funds were hitherto channeled for personal gain, saying that pension monies are no longer being stolen.
We have made strides, and the ones that really gladdens the heart are the strides that we have made to improve payments of your monthly pensions. We are ready, and we make your monthly pensions by the 20th of the month when the money is ready, when the money is available. For those of you on the payroll, we have made efforts to make sure that the money gets to you very quickly, right?
PITAD, an agency of the federal government, was established in August 2013 in compliance with the provisions of Section 30, subsection 2A of the Pensions Reform Act of 2014, now replaced by the Pension Reform Act 2014. Awesome Raffle, Ben Television News, Abuja, Nigeria.